Hi guys. So I am just about done here. I just was trying to upgrade the tissue box a little bit for you guys because I did find out how that was zoomed way in the camera quality for the sketchbook from last time, but I am trying to now get the camera set up with the higher camera quality, and I keep catching the tissue box or whatever it is I'm putting it on. So give me a second. I'm trying to fix that. Excuse the open door addition to all the bullshit in my background usually. Um yeah, all of that. And we will be started very soon. I figured I would say hi and just let you guys know I am in fact sitting here getting stuff set up. We're just taking a minute. Because I cannot get set up on time to save my freaking life. But we are getting there. I just need to figure out how I make this camera be nice. But I will figure it out. So just bear with me. Sorry guys. It's the problem is that the tissue box was such a perfect height. Maybe this is why I did that before, but as just like a weird fix, but the tissue box was such a perfect height for uh the crop that I had the camera. So now I have to figure out how to get it set without it. We'll figure it out though. I would hum elevator music for you guys, but I don't want to get copyright strikes. How are you guys doing? We could do small talk. I'm not very good at that, but maybe you guys are. Do you want to tell me like how's the weather where you guys are at, or like I don't know. We could do chat small talk until I figure this out. That would be funny, right? Maybe. I don't know. Or cute, depending on how everybody's stories are. I think I just about got it. I think. Give me give me a second. Where's my pencil so I can see in my frame? I literally just had it before I started moving this frame. Guys, don't get brain problems. Brain problems. Oh, hi! You guys can stare at my kitty. Hi, kitty. That's fun. Kitty cameo. This is the missile. He's so cute. He's gonna sit back there while I Find my pencil, I guess. I swear it was literally just right here. I don't know how, guys, but I will lose things that are actually. Oh, it's right in front of me. Okay. Anyway, that I will lose things that are in my hands. Like, this is not a joke. I was so concerned trying to find my phone the other day after I got back from some appointments, thinking, "Oh no, did I leave my phone in the store?" Hi, da puppy. You gonna come sit with me? No, you're just jumping around. Okay. Um, sorry if I do little baby voice and it bothers anybody. My cats are very cute and I get very maternal over them. I can't help it. They're just I love them a lot. Oh, just puppies. Sorry, I did it again. uh anyway, I was talking about, yeah, no, I lose stuff that's in my hands. I lost my phone the other day. Carried it around for like 15 minutes and then went, "Oh, I'm holding it." Like, I went and asked other people in my house if they had seen my phone when it was in my hand. Anyway, I was like, "Oh no, it's on mute for my appointments. I'm not gonna be able to find it. I can't call it or anything." Anyway, well, it seems my camera orientation is upside down for some reason after I reset all of the adjustments and flips and stuff. So I guess that must just be. Oh, you know what? It's because my camera is upside down. I Anyway, because of overhead. Uh give me just a second to flip that around so you guys don't have to watch me draw upside down. And then we should finally be ready to go. Also, did Missile leave? If Missile left, I can close my door. At least she is asleep in the window, but he won't care. Uh, yeah. Okay, give me just a second, guys. I think my kitty left. I'm gonna. Here, we'll transition you over to the sketchbook that's upside down. And you guys can stare at my sketchbook being upside down for just a second while I get up and close my door. Silly me. Cats don't care if I want to close the door. Uh, Hi, puppy. My cat is now back at my ankles. Hi. Even though I don't know where in my house he was until 5 seconds ago, because he ran off. Uh, Critters. Oh, are you gonna climb up my chair again? I don't know why he likes that. There are taller things for him to climb on. I guess maybe not in this room. Hi, Debbie. Maybe I could put a big tower in my room or something, and then he would not climb on my chair, but I don't actually mind that much. Alright, here you guys can go back to staring at my face while I flip this around so that I don't have to do the motion sickness warning or nothing. You guys can just look at me. Hopefully I don't give you motion sickness. Just, sickness. I don't I don't know. I am having a time with this one. I don't know why it does not want to rotate like it says it's rotating. It says it should rotate into place, and then it goes past it for some reason. Okay, there we go. Okay. Well, guys, for the very first time, we are going to have full quality sketchbook cam, I think. Did he really troll me that bad? Did he come in and play with my ankles when I got up to get the door and then left? I think he totally did. Okay, well, maybe if I don't turn the camera off, I can, like, unjinx myself. Here, we'll see. You guys can stare at, like, my pajama pants, and, I will be right back. Almost got my card caught in the door there. Oh yeah, you guys can see my bag hanging on my door. That was my birthday gift to myself. I got that secondhand. Uh and uh it was secondhand, but it was new and in the bag, and super nice deal. Anyway, uh nice handbag. I needed a new handbag. Mine is falling apart, literally falling apart, like the actual uh like, I don't know how many of you guys have just like satchels or like carry bags and stuff, but yeah, just like there's like lining along the straps like you would have on a backpack, but just made of leather usually, or polyester or whatever, else your bag is made out of. And then sometimes that will fray off first because it's like extra on top of the stitching. So the stitching isn't falling out yet, but it's preparing to on my other bag, and the lining has fallen off for the most part, and I don't want to wear it around because I feel weird shedding little plastic bits everywhere, which I feel like is fair. Anyway, now that we finally have this lovely little sketch, oh shoot, I tried to tip it, but it's upside down, so I tipped it the wrong way. Anyway, now that we have this lovely little sketchbook set up, I will let you guys all know what we are doing today. And that is that and how did it get so dark? I'm starting late as per usual. Uh, if you guys want to, like, pretend I start later. I'm sure you won't miss very much because I am not good at starting things. I I mean, we'll have fun once I get going here, I promise. But yeah, not good at setting up on time. Uh, I don't know if anybody was here that's here in the beginning. Uh, I don't know if you heard this last time, but I usually keep my little viewer thingy hidden because it doesn't count very well anyway. So, oh, hi. Uh, but the little stream starting thing said bad ADHD tip, start early. Because I cannot start on time no matter what I do. But I will get going now, and we will. Oh well, thank you. I do make sure that I take a shower at least before I get on camera for you guys. So uh hopefully, I don't look too cave goblin-y. Uh, cause that is my normal ambiance here in my little office. um, but today we are gonna draw uh just like some curvy action ladies, like some kind of comic book style uh ladies with katanas or something. I don't know. Uh, maybe some pew pews, but we'll see. I do put these on YouTube, so if we do, they'll probably be like very stylized. It's been not very much so far. I sleep later in the evenings and get up like pretty much just before this usually. So uh my day has been setting up for this and and still managing to be late. So, we'll see. I'm sure it'll get going better eventually. Um and sorry if I flashbanged anybody. I think it must be gonna rain or something. That was a sentence. I think it must be about to rain or something. Hmm. Yeah, I I think I saw you last week. Uh, you don't have the first time chatter thing, so I assume I am not mistaking you for someone else. I'm not great at names, but uh and on yeah, I've been trying to be here uh on Sundays pretty much. Uh just to draw cuz I have drawing to do regardless, and I figure maybe people want to hang out for that a little bit. Um, I am moving other stuff on my desk. Stop, stop. It's the camera. I'm sorry. I swear I did try to go and buy a better stand so that I didn't have to set you guys on a freaking tissue box. But all of the stands that I saw at the Best Buy, ah, all of the stands that I saw at the Best Buy were either like phone stands where I would have to find like a streaming thing for my phone, which I wasn't that into, or they were like, yeah, I'm gonna mark my papers so I can make sure I'm staying in the frame. Uh, yeah, they were either There we go. Oh, now I'm too low. Phone stands so that they wouldn't do me any good for my webcam, or they were like just not as mobile as I wanted. That's really cool. I took a really long drawing break right before I got back into it for real. Because I went and did a whole university degree, and that was a lot of effort, and I got super burnt out. Did not do much of anything besides school for a couple of years probably. Um but now I'm back into it, and we are going to use one of my favorite learning tools for people at all points in their art journey, and that is line of action. I love line of action so much. Line of action is a great tool for anyone at any point in their art journey. And today we're going to use it because I want to draw uh some very like feminine action heroes. That's what we're going for today, is feminine action heroes. Because I want to draw like, I don't know. I just want to draw femme people doing angry stuff today. That's my whole goal. We're gonna draw like, Harley Quinn stuff, or like pretty girls with katanas. That's the goal for today. I I don't have any real uh I mean, that's like I said, that's the goal for today. I don't have a real goal beyond that. We're just gonna draw some little action girls, action ladies, uh, because we'll probably be doing like curvy action ladies and not action girls. Maybe we will draw like a Powerpuff Girl or something too, though. I don't know. Uh, I am gonna start line of action, and then I do love Harley Quinn quite a bit. Uh, I think she is a really great character. I have watched a lot of Batman over the ages. And also there was that Harley Quinn series on HBO Max. That one was good. Uh cool. That's super fun. I don't think I've played like any of the Batman games for a long time. I think I played like Lego Batman on the Wii or something like that. That would have been ages ago. Um, is my camera refocusing? Is that what it's doing that's making it shift like that? Or is it actually shifting on the tissue box? I can't tell. Okay, well, if it keeps doing it, I will set something heavy on it. Um, oh yeah, maybe. I kind of have a thing with computer games where I typically don't spend money on games unless I'm gonna like play them with somebody. Um, I don't spend a lot of like solo time on my computer usually, gaming wise. I have been a lot recently, but kind of just on accident. Um, my partners have been playing their own game, and so I kind of just I've been playing a lot of Lego Fortnite. I know that's super silly. But I started playing it for some XP because I play a little bit of regular Fortnite and yeah, I love Poison Ivy too. Poison I All the Batman villains are super great villains. I mean, like, I haven't seen a lot of like newer Batman stuff. Like, I haven't played the Arkham games or watched like Justice League and stuff like that. I think he's in Justice League, right? Um, but like I really like the old Batman villains like Penguin and Poison Ivy and Harley Quinn and the old Joker. Like those are all so great. And I mean, new Joker is kind of cool too, but like old Joker was just like a very classic crazy person villain and that was very cool. Oh yeah, I totally forgot that was even happening. It is refocusing. I saw that. Why are you doing that? Stop it. It better not keep doing that. What a butthole. Don't refocus. Don't refocus while I'm working. I don't think it's done that before. I feel like I would have noticed that way more if it was doing it while it was smaller. Anyway, maybe I just didn't notice because I don't pay enough attention, but okay. Well, hopefully it doesn't keep doing that. Sorry if it does. Maybe that's why I had it zoomed in. I don't know. Maybe I just need to get like a they probably have like a desktop recorder webcam that's like already on an armbar or something that I could buy somewhere. I don't know. Uh did I pause line of action or did I just set this for a really long time? Oh, I just set it for a really long time. Did I set these for 5 minutes? I'm gonna go back and set them for 2. I don't need 5 minutes to do gestures. I watched one of those, the Dark Knight ones. Um, I don't know. I thought they were alright. I really like the directing in the Dark Knight ones. I don't know that I like who's the guy that plays Batman in those ones? Everybody really likes him because of his voice and I I just don't like him that much. I don't know. Yes, Chris, thank you. I just don't like him that much. I know he's like a big deal and people really enjoy him as an actor, but I just I just think he does a disservice to the character. I feel like he doesn't portray, you know, the whole range of Batman as like because I mean Batman's like he's kind of an anti-hero, right? He's not really a superhero in the sense that like the police don't typically enjoy him in the originals and like he's not usually real good with like authority and rules. Like he yeah, the first one is like it's very actiony. It's definitely a movie that was made to kind of just like profit off the copyright in my opinion. Um because I really don't think it's all that good. I know lots of people really like it, and I'm sorry if I'm offending somebody. And maybe somebody will come in and tell me like, "Oh, actually, it's like a big old metaphor for like this childhood trauma thing that Batman has and all like yada yada," and I'll change my mind. I have no idea, but uh personally, as far as I have seen, it's just not that good. I did not enjoy watching it all that much. And I'm using line of action just to draw some gestures right now for ideas for our action ladies. That's what I am doing. I realize I didn't actually say that. I just started drawing gesture ladies after saying we're drawing action ladies. Uh but yeah, that's what's happening is I am gonna draw, and this one's kind of in a scantily clad position, so I'll give her some little shorts so I don't get in trouble. Uh yeah, I don't really have ideas for our actiony ladies yet that are real ideas, so I figured I could just draw some gestures and maybe we'll find something out of that. Yeah, I think the whole idea is just supposed to be that it's kind of like a caste system version of Gotham. Like Gotham in the comics and stuff is kind of just like anarchistic, right? Like the police have just kind of lost a lot of their power and there's less general government and stuff because Batman kind of takes care of lots of things and the mayor with all his money kind of takes care of lots of things in like a private way as opposed to a government way in the original Batman, but also they kind of did that in like a class system way, I think, in the Dark Knight, and so there was lots of like big skyscraper buildings that people were supposed to know about and like stuff like that that was kind of weird. But yeah, it was definitely confusing, and I like I said I like the directing. I like a lot of like the cinematics and a lot of like the story itself. I just don't think it was portrayed well. I didn't really enjoy watching the movie. I think probably the most fun part about it was like big explosions, um, which I think probably was most people's favorite part about it. Big explosions and, you know, dark Christian Bale voice, uh, which is for some people it's just not really my cup of tea. Uh, my partners are really into animated shows that are very much about lots of explosions and fighting and such. Oh, well, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate all of you and all of your engagement. And for all of the cute little chats. I'm sure that that goes a long way towards putting some numbers in my pocket, and I appreciate it. Um, what was I saying? Right. Yeah, I do really like Batman. I don't think Christian Bale did a good job. I don't like the Dark Knight movies. I'm sorry if people really like the Dark Knight movies. Oh, right. I moved on from that already. I said my partners really like actiony like anime and stuff. We watch a lot of anime because I know some Japanese and they are learning some Japanese and we just like anime. Um and so uh they will always get really into dissecting all the fight scenes and talking about all of the big mechs and such, and I just do not get as into that as other people. I am into like the technical aspects of fight scenes, but like once it's just watching explosions and stuff, it's kind of schmeh for me. Like if we were gonna watch like close combat fight and they were gonna animate like lots of in your face punching and such like that would be cool. I would be so into that, but yeah, just the explosions for the heck of it is not usually my thing. Mm. And I might have to start picking up this page and finding some of these I actually want to turn into superhero ladies soon, because yeah, Spider-Man's cool too. I super liked the animated Spider-Man movies. I think there's supposed to be another one of those soon-ish. Um, Next year or something. Uh, those those were super good. I really liked those. I really thought the animation was super well done in those. I am usually not that impressed by excuse me, by animated films. I usually feel like a lot of like the style that you gain from using animation gets lost in big corporate films. And it just becomes kind of like not paying artists uh as opposed to like using it for being animated. Um, but I think that the Spider-Man films did a really, really good job of being stylistically animated in a way that made sense for them to be animated. Like, it was so good to watch like their color transitions and stuff. And I really loved the way that they made sure that you could tell where you were in the environment by like just like really subtle things like lighting and like background music. I thought it was a super put together film. I really really enjoyed watching it, and I really thought it was well done overall. I didn't have a lot of problems with it. Other than I think it's the second one where the second of the animated films that ends on kind of like a nasty huge cliffhanger, and I genuinely hate when films do that, because while the intention is for there to be another film, uh sometimes, there just isn't another film, and if you like haven't already made both movies, I feel really bad when people just end intentionally on a cliffhanger, like they're for sure gonna have another movie if they don't already know they're gonna have another movie. Is my cat getting up? No, he's just moving around. The other one is still sleeping in the window, so I might have to get him at some point, but he was just rolling over. But yeah, the Spider-Man, the Amazing Spider-Man, whatever, the Spider-Verse, that's what it's called. I don't know why that took me so long. There's that's not even Yeah, that's super novel. I don't know why that was so hard to remember. Anyway, but yeah, the Spider-Verse movies were really good. I liked all of those. I think probably for the Batman movies, if you did want to watch like kind of a classic good Batman movie, just the Michael Keaton Batman. Uh, I have that one. I'm about to date the heck out of myself. I have that one on VHS. That I bought at a secondhand store. Uh, and I, if you don't know, if you're too small to know VHS is like cassette tapes for VCRs, um, like tape players for movies. Uh, and that was like my favorite movie of all time for forever. Probably uh until I saw like The Shining, which is my favorite movie now. Um but yeah, the Michael Keaton Batman was my favorite movie for a really long time. That one is super good. And everybody really likes the Christian Bale Batman, but it really is just him imitating Michael Keaton. It's Michael Keaton is he has such a good bat. He's like the original Batman. Like it's very good. And it's not nearly as deep and gravelly as Christian Bale, but it does sound way better in my opinion, and I really enjoy his portrayal of the character in a way I don't with Christian Bale. Uh and it's also just like directed, that's not the word I'm looking for. I did like the directing in the Christian Bale one. It's like, oh, there's a word I'm looking for. It's like told better. Like it's portrayed more clearly. Um it's that's the word. It's telegraphed better. That was the word I was looking for. Like it is portrayed to you better what is going on in the Michael Keaton one by a good deal. It really is more like someone made a live action film of a comic, which I think the Dark Knight ones definitely attempt to pull away from on purpose, and I think I just don't like that because I enjoy the comic Batman. I don't really think he needs to be the nitty gritty New York anti-hero. I don't really think that was ever supposed to really be his shtick. I know lots of people kind of kind of read him that way just because of, you know, like just being a little bit like gothy emo looking with all the black and the spikes and such, but like really I think it's not supposed to be that gritty. Typically it's just kind of a background for the, you know, just Batman be. I mean, Batman is definitely darker than lots of superheroes. Even in the original comics, like there's definitely some Batman stuff that's like, man, that was heavy and a lot, and why would you put that in a kids thing? Um, but also like it's not it's not meant to be like edgy for the sake of it, like I feel like the Christian Bale ones were. Like I feel like the Christian Bale ones had a lot of just like commercialized edge, right? Like edge that was very purposefully designed for the movie and not necessarily like edge that came naturally out of the characters. And I didn't like that. I thought that was very pandering, and I just didn't enjoy watching it. Um, and I think the Michael Keaton one does a good job of just kind of like having dark lighting that just makes things feel dark and still not dark enough lighting that you can't see what's going on, and just highlighting visually and with audio things that are important so that you don't miss them, or hiding things visually that they want to be kind of cool Easter eggs or whatever the heck. I think just I think maybe it's the I think it's a lot of the camera work in the Michael Keaton one that I like, and a lot of the storyboarding. It's got to be the storyboarding for the Michael Keaton one that's better. Um, because the Christian Bale one just I feel like it was trying to do a lot and ended up kind of tripping over itself. Um, and didn't end up doing very much well. Like maybe it's just too rushed. It had a lot of hype. I know that. So like I think there was like wasn't there like a Dark Knight poster in the background of I Am Legend, I think. That movie's from okay, I'm gonna look it up because my brain is going down a wormhole. But yeah, I Am Legend is a horror movie. It's like a zombie thriller uh with Will Smith. Um Super good movie. I really like that one too. If you guys are looking for movie recommendations, I Am Legend. Yeah, that one's 2007. And when did The Dark Knight come out? It's like 2013. Oh, okay, it was 2008. Yeah, cuz so maybe it was just a lot of hype and it just had to come out too early or something, because I yeah, I remember hearing about that movie like before it was out, and I used to live kind of in uh tech boonies and have absolutely no access to the internet personally. Um yeah, imagine guys. I don't even look that old, and I'm still a human person who grew up without consistent access to the internet. Imagine. Um but yeah, no, I heard about that movie then before it was out like a lot, and I imagine that means other places it was way more hyped. And so I wonder if maybe that one just got really really production rushed because it felt like there was a lot missing there. Uh but yeah, the Spider-Man animated movies, the Spider-Verse ones, super impressed with those. I think those are probably some of the best produced movies and like most well animated that I have seen maybe ever. That might be like my favorite set of animation, honestly. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I might take that one back, but the animation is super good. I think they did an excellent job of taking advantage of all of the every single one of the advantages that animation gives you over live action. I think they used it to suspend disbelief in a really great way. I think they used it to just like direct the story and telegraph fights, and I really appreciated everything that they did with the animation in that. I think the second one I really liked they did like the kind of butt in comic style up against the other style, and I thought that was super interesting. Um I think I heard something about that taking a really long time to animate, and I can imagine, especially if they're using like a studio animator where they have like some puppets or character models on tracks, which I can't imagine they're doing frame animation for that. Uh, but I didn't look hard enough, I guess. Um, Yeah, no, that's super impressive movies. I really enjoyed watching those. I hope the next one is just as fun, and I can't imagine it won't be. Uh, do hate that they set up the big old cliffhanger, especially. Yeah, this two things. It's when they don't know the second movie is coming out. I don't want like if they leave it on a cliffhanger. And if they know the second movie is coming out, but they know it's not going to come out for a long time. And I know production companies use that to build hype, right? The point is they want you to be excited for the next movie. But if you do that, for me personally, I don't like like it doesn't build hype for me. It what it does for me instead of building hype is it makes me feel like the story that I was already promised is not wrapped up, is not completed, and I feel gypped. Like I feel like I have lost out on something I've already been offered, basically, right? Like I don't feel like it's a new thing that I'm expecting because you've put a cliffhanger at the end. And I don't know if that's just because I kind of suspect it's because of the way that we watch television typically now, in like bursts as opposed to over extended periods of time, right? Like if the media is expected to come out, um packaged all together, like I do kind of expect media to be complete when it gets to me, um then it does make sense for cliffhangers to be less effective than if I had built that anticipation into my enjoyment of the media, right? Like television used to be a huge deal, like everywhere. You would just go anywhere and there would be a TV and that was an event, right? Like if there was like a sports game, people would buy whole TVs for the sports game, right? Um it used to be a lot more of like a segment event, like individual instance of media. And I think in that case, it makes a lot more sense to leave your audience uh with the knowledge that, oh, there will in fact be another movie, 4 years from now, or there might be another movie, but at least there will be, more to this story in my head, or while I wait and find out, I think that that is more effective if you're already using that anticipation in your enjoyment of the media. And I think that because I watch a lot of streaming services now, and I never really, even when I lived kind of in the middle of nowhere, uh, I didn't really have like television, like consistent television, like cable or anything. So I did have a pair of those little wire bunny ear things, but I didn't really get like, sit down on Saturday in the afternoon and watch your favorite program on like Cartoon Network or something. Uh, Probably we did not get Cartoon Network on the bunny ears because, oh gosh, was Cartoon Network real? When did Cartoon Network start? Oh gosh, I'm so old, guys. I I have been confronting uh being old a lot recently because I'm terrible and my joints are bad and my brain stinks. Ugh. And I keep saying things that date me, and then I go, oh, that was a long time ago. Welcome to being a whole adult, I guess, but yeah, this I have been doing that a lot. I was gonna see if I could squish some more stuff onto this, but I think I'm gonna scoot my sketchbook over. So if you guys don't want to watch motion sickness warning here, I'm gonna scoot the sketchbook. Don't look. Don't look if you're gonna get sick, guys, because I'm gonna move the sketchbook. Oh no, oh no. Uh, doo Oh, it's because of the camera being skewed. Yeah, I think that's probably. Mm, mm, I don't know. That's probably about as good as it's gonna get. You guys can look again. Uh, and we'll just have to make a note that this little corner down here at the bottom is off limits. Uh, we have some okay candidates for our actiony ladies. I probably will draw an actiony lady at this point or two because I've been doing gesture drawings for a minute and kind of just chatting. Not that like I said, not that we had real plans today, but it would be kind of silly if I sat here and did a bunch of gesture drawings for the whole time. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, I don't know if you guys are real cool healthy people. I am not. I have spent so much time with doctors recently, and that has been actually just terrible. I have not figured out like anything that's wrong with me, and I'm mostly just going to doctors so they can send me to more doctors still. and that has been a lot of big oofs. I One of my big things, which is probably a large part of the reason why I cannot get started on time, is I probably have ADHD. I don't have like official diagnostics, so I don't want to like go around and tell people, yeah, I definitely have ADHD. But like I probably do, and I probably am somewhere on the autism spectrum. Oh, hold up. My kitty wants out of my room. He woke up from his rain nap. Let me turn my camera off. Just actually, I'll just get up. Give me a second. Oh, they are so cute. Ah, I just uh I just love them so much. Oh, well, rip this lady sitting crisscross because I stood up. Actually, you know what? We'll cheat. We'll cheat and we'll just go back. Um, and we'll add some time to the timer by going back because it just resets if I go back. Um, but yeah, I am super time blind. That's what I was gonna say. Sorry, I was trying to remember where I was going with that. Uh, I like just don't check in with time, and like you're I'm sure that that sounds like actually just like crazy talk to some people, and it kind of is. Like it's a disability. Like my brain does not work in that way. Um, but also, yeah, I just like am super genuinely bad at observing time in a way that is pretty detrimental. Uh, I have a really hard time getting ready for stuff on time that I know is coming in advance, or like uh my partner said to me, I think it was literally yesterday, that I always take longer to get ready to go on a walk than uh he actually wants to be on the walk for. And I felt really bad because I just am not good at watching. And then even if I am watching, like I never know how long things are gonna take. I Even if I've done them like a million times, like somehow my brain still thinks that like I can shower in 5 minutes, or I can like get up 15 minutes before I need to be ready to stream here, and that's enough time for me when it clearly isn't. Uh but my brain just keeps convincing me that those things, my brain is a liar. That's basically the whole thing. My brain is a big fat liar to me. And that is poop. Um and I don't check in with time. It's really hard for me. I try not to say I have bad time management because I manage my time a lot. Like I wear clocks constantly. There is a clock on my wall. There is a clock every room in my house, pretty much, so that I can look and see what time it is. And I have so many management tools for time. Like, I have like 3 different calendars now that all get the same information pretty much, just at different points in time. And um yeah, I've got a little like capsule set, like plastic capsules for all of my medications so that I can't lose the date or anything. It is, I manage my time a lot. So I try not to say I have bad time management because that's not true. But I am super time blind. I cannot check in with it naturally. And I don't understand how other people do because it's just a thing that my brain doesn't do. It's very annoying. Oh, that's a striking pose. I was kind of just sitting here letting them cycle a little bit because I didn't like a couple of poses that came up. I just thought they were kind of boring. But this one is neat, so I'll have to start drawing before she goes away. Um, but yeah, no, so uh the stream probably will not start on time for the most part if you guys don't want to show up uh at 3 Eastern, like, or whatever it is your time. That is totally fine. I may or may not be here and ready myself. But that's just when I try to get started by. Uh, but yeah, I'm sure if you guys, if any of you guys have showed up when I said I'm starting and waited for me to actually be ready, you have noticed that I am not great at being on time. I just can't manage it for the most part. It's a big part of the reason that I hesitate to do any sort of scheduled like work, like a 9 to 5 or like a team job where I would have to check in with people at a specific point in time and I would have to remember that um because I just don't do that well, and that's the thing I know about myself, and I would rather not take on responsibility that requires me to, especially when other people are involved, because I just do know that that's not a thing I'm good at, and I would rather not have that be detrimental to people besides me, because it is kind of already detrimental to me. Uh, and yeah, if you guys don't want to show up on time, I'm sure you won't miss much. You might miss my attempt at a silly YouTube intro, which I didn't even do this time. So thanks, Box Ghost. I appreciate you, because now he gets to pick where this video starts. Uh, I'm sure he'll just pick whenever my face shows up, and that's fine. Um, Oh, that way everybody on YouTube can get the kitty cameo too. Can't miss the kitty cameo. Thank you. Yeah, I think we have a couple of good poses here. I think maybe if I reverse this one, we could do this one versus like the splayed out hands one and have it be like magic versus weapons battle. Oh, thank you, thank you. I have the gesture drawings is something I have been practicing for a long time, and I think line of action is really good for that. There is, I'm trying to remember, I think it was Jazza. Um, I watch a lot of art YouTubers, and this was a hot minute ago. Um, but I think it was Jazza, and he is kind of an older art YouTuber who has been on the platform for a long time. And he had a really great video on gesture drawing that was about how to open up with your gesture drawing, because a lot of people, myself included, when they do gesture drawing, they get really stuck in details and then they don't get the things that they actually want out of the gesture down on the paper in time, and uh end up with a lot of details that maybe don't even look that good. Um and I totally had that issue, and I think one of the best tips that I got from that video was that you have to treat gesture drawing different than your regular drawings in your brain, in that if you try to make your gesture drawings look nice, you are going to put things on the page that aren't there, right? Because that's typically the big issue that everyone has using reference, is drawing stuff that isn't real. Um, or drawing stuff that is real that doesn't look good. And one of the big things that you notice when you don't try to make things look good and you just try to make things look like they are is your brain will start breaking things up more into just like pieces naturally when you start thinking about your art that way. Um, because your brain wants to break things into pieces that make sense, right? Um, and so if you have like a big, pretty artwork that you don't know anything about, right? Like your brain isn't going to take that and break it into pieces because it doesn't have logical places to do that. But if you give yourself a bunch of gestures and a bunch of like actions that you know that you can do, right, with your own body. I mean, maybe you can't do all of these with your own body. Some of the people in line of action are very flexible and very, very strong. I cannot imagine having the core strength that some of these models have. Um, but yeah, so just like being able to know in your brain that those are like pieces of a body and that they are moving in a certain way, and trying to get really truly the action, the gesture out of the picture instead of trying to make the picture look really nice is really super important for gesture drawing. And I think it trains your brain to break apart forms in a way that is super important for literally all artwork. Um, and I probably just have one more space uh for some actions here, and I think I probably will end up going with this one versus splayed out hands, but I want to make sure that I put something fun here in the corner, because I probably will get up and stretch after that. My old person back is starting to hurt a little, and I'll have to get up and stretch and go to the little people room. I don't know why I keep saying that. That sounds weird even to me. Uh, I gotta just say bathroom or something. sometimes I make up like so I am very vocal about the fact that I don't really enjoy my first language as a language, and sometimes I will just make up phrases and things um to use, and I end up just having weird vocabulary sometimes because I put weird phrases into my speech. Oh, for art, probably some of my big art inspo. Uh, I mean, for art, it changes a lot because I have a lot of like varying creative stuff that I like to do. Excuse me. Um, and I just uh, so I mean, it's not probably like a couple of people that have always been my inspiration. I really love Stan Lee. Uh, I love all of Stan Lee's work. Um, and I used to that was probably one of my biggest original inspirations. I really like simplistic and comic styles. And the I know this isn't an artist, but like the Lisa Frank brand of like coloring books and stickers and stuff, I always really thought those were all super like fun designs. I really liked the like because Lisa Frank is kind of almost uncanny valley cute, right? Like it is realistic in a way that lots of other simplistic cartoons aren't. It has lots of extra details that lots of other simple cartoons don't. And I got super into that for a while. I would like trace pages out of the Lisa Frank coloring books. And those are probably two of my biggest original inspirations. Are just like comics, specifically DC and Stan Lee, and I know those are different, but I just mean I did really like Batman also. I said Batman before. And uh yeah, or the Teen Titans, the original Teen Titans DC comics. Those are also another kind of darker one, but they were a super fun read when I was younger. Um, I was kind of a darker kid, so I really did like those a lot. I they are very dramatic. They are definitely more of like a watching fights for the fights type of comic. But there's story in there too. It's also very there's lots of high stakes, lots of crazy alien stuff. Uh yeah, anyway, those are super cool. Probably recently a lot of my inspirations have been okay, I am gonna look up his name because I'm so bad at names and I don't really I think probably if I know I'm gonna do these two ladies, I'll be done with my gestures for now anyway. Um and I'm gonna go look at sorry if the shorts thingy jump scares you. No. Okay, cool. Uh, what is his name? What is his name? I know I subscribed to him. I'm pretty sure I subscribed to him. Okay, so uh two of my recent inspirations have been uh there is a guy who does a lot of character design work. Um, and recently he's been doing a series where he goes and draws witches, but they're like themed witches, like witch from Florida or the tomato witch or the tornado witch or the black hole witch, right? Like lots of like the point is to draw a magic woman uh with a theme. And I think that's such a cool it's just come out so fun. Um and it's such a cool idea, and I have really enjoyed watching that series. And that guy's named Ron Illust, uh like Ron RON, and then the first part of Illustrator, ILLUST. He is super cool. I would super recommend watching him. He does some streams and some more interactive content, kind of like this, if you're into this. And he is a way bigger audience than me, so like I'm sure there's lots of engagement and stuff to do all over his pages. But I've mostly been watching his Witch series, and he's super cool. Another guy is named Pitch Canker. Yeah, that's his YouTube name. It's Pitch and then Canker. They are both English words, but canker, like canker sore, uh like Canker. Just in case that was not clear, because it is an odd name. But he draws a lot of like very purposefully uncanny valley stylized horror art, and I really like his style. Um Recently I think those two have been my inspirations because I am trying to get back into drawing stuff that I like because I've been having issues with that, and just being less literal and direct with my art. Because I do draw a lot of very literal and direct details and stuff. Even with like the cats last week, it was kind of uh straightforward, um pretty literal, even when I was doing like something kind of silly. And I can draw like little simple cartoon cats, but those actually took way too much practice for the thing that they are, because I'm just not good at abstractions. And Pitchcanker is wonderful at abstractions. I have taken so much inspiration from him. Um, he uh works a lot with just pure red, total black and total white, digitally. So it is 255 red and then all zeros black and all 255 white. Um, and it is really striking the amount of just variety and contrast and saturation, like leveling. I don't know what you would call some of it, but he is just really great at taking those three colors and a thin brush and making really expressive, spooky, creepy things. And I have taken a lot of work for or a lot of inspiration from his work recently. He talks a lot about his process on YouTube and a lot more about like how he thinks about his art instead of like physically how he does it, which I think is super interesting, especially from him. Um, Hi, hubby. My kitty is at the door. Sorry if you guys could hear him. I'm gonna ignore him for right now, but if he keeps yelling, I'll let him in. Um, Hi, you're fine. I'm working right now. Go play. Um, I'll say hi to him in a few minutes when I get up. Yeah, those two have probably been the ones I've been watching the most. Uh, I really do like their artwork. Um, I do, excuse me, I got coffee in my face. I do still watch Jaza on occasion. Uh, Not as much because um he just he got really big. His channel got really huge and he got to do a lot of really cool big creative projects, which is great, and I so love that he gets to do all of that. Excuse me. But I myself uh was mostly watching him just for little artsy drawing stuff, and he doesn't do a lot of that anymore. And when he does, it's usually kind of like pop culture based, like big fandoms and stuff that I don't know very many of, and uh, is less fun for me to watch, so I don't as much. And then also, I want to. There's one more artist I want to give a sweet little shout out to before I give my stand. I stand up here because, uh, yeah, if I am talking about inspiration, my one of my biggest inspirations probably over time um that doesn't put out videos anymore because they got really sick, just like physically ill. Like they have just like a chronic illness. I don't remember what it is. It's some kind of nerve or muscle disorder or something where they just have a hard time existing and getting around, and it's really rough for them. And I think probably about a year ago now, something like that, maybe a little longer than a year ago. They kind of stopped posting and they kind of weren't doing very much online. And excuse me while I scratch my nose, on camera like a goblin. But yeah, they weren't doing very much online, and people were kind of asking, what's up? Where did they go? And they put out a little PSA that was like, "Hey, I'm having a hard time, just keeping in the rhythm of things with all of my stuff." And that was kind of sad, but everybody was understanding. And then they came back and were kind of like, "Yeah, I'm just actually really burnt out and super sick, and I can't really do this." And that was really sad, but also understandable because, health is it's got to be your biggest concern. It's unfortunate when it has to come over stuff that you appreciate or love or like or whatever. But yeah, and that's drawing with waffles. That's the word drawing, WIFF, and then waffles. And her name is Rin, I think. Yeah, it says Rin in the little description. and I really liked watching her. She just has super great energy. I hope she's doing okay. And if you wanted to go and watch some of her back videos, I'm sure they're still monetized because they have ads on them, and I think they still have ads on them. I have big YouTube now, so I don't watch ads either way. Sorry. Um, but I really enjoyed watching her, and if you guys want to go and show some support to her old content, I'm sure she maybe even still has like some art. I know she used to sell like some coloring pages and stuff. Uh oh, thank you. We're gonna turn some of these into some action ladies here in a minute, but I'm gonna have to get up and stretch first, I think, before we turn the page, because I've been sitting here a while. Um, I was just talking about Drawing with Waffles. Super, super great art creator, super great energy. Super sad story because they got very sick and don't post anymore. And I super miss them online as just like a person to watch. I don't know them or anything, um, but yeah, great creator, great energy. Really, really sad. But she was probably a lot of inspiration for me to do YouTube and content and stuff, just because she is very good about exposing like her process and her bad art and bad like stuff that she thinks is bad that other people love, because that's how art works. It's pretty much only ever you that thinks your stuff is bad, unless you aren't trying or are still very early on. And even then, usually, if you're trying, people will see the value in what it is that you're trying to make, even if, it's not great. Um, I do appreciate people liking my very literal body sketches. But yeah, lots of the time, when you're just starting out, it's not always about proficiency. And I super love her energy, and I hope that she's doing okay. Um, and yeah, kind of little wrap up on that question, since I was answering a question, and I just started talking about art YouTubers because, like I said, I do watch. Sorry, I'm screwing with a piece of dead skin on my lip. I'll stop. But I do super love Drawing with Waffles content. Um, and yeah, like I said, if you want to go look, she's got lots of stuff to check out. She had lots of like free adult coloring pages that she would put out, and I think those are still all publicly available for free. Like just line work that she did that you can take and color in if you want, for fun. And uh, yeah. As a wrap up, my big inspirations initially, probably uh a lot of Stan Lee and comics, probably a lot of Lisa Frank, um and yeah, recently Pitch Canker, Pitch Canker for abstractions, uh Ron Illist for character design, and Drawing Leafy Waffles for vibes, because for vibes and also for just all of them for amazing art. Um, yeah, and I do like Jazza, but he does a lot of more big creative projects than just drawing now. So if you're interested in some of that, you should watch him, but it is less just sit and draw than it used to be. Um, and on that note, oh, I am old. I am old, and my back is terrible, and I am gonna have to stand up for a minute. So, I, you know what? We can put we can put a cute little cat holding BRB sign in the corner. That's what we can do since we didn't do excuse me, since we didn't do a last gesture drawing over here. Here, let me see. Let me mark where the bottom of my camera is so I put the cat in frame for you guys. Here, we'll put actually we'll put his head here and he can have like one paw up on the sign. Okay. Here, we'll put a little BRB cat in the corner. We could give him like some sunglasses or something so he's very cool. So that everybody knows it's very cool to be right that. He's a cool cat, you know. I'm sorry. Uh we we're gonna draw some action ladies when I get back. That's what all this gesture is for. I had been drawing some gestures to just kind of work out what we were gonna draw as like a big final sketch, and when I get back we're gonna draw this one in the corner um as like a weapons fighter, and then we did a pose a little bit earlier with like the hands splayed out. So we'll do like weapons versus magic uh for some action ladies when we get back. It was kind of impromptu theme because I didn't didn't really I'm not great at thinking of themes. I was talking about that a little bit, but yeah, some of the reason I've been watching the YouTube guys that I have is just that I have been having a bit of issue picking stuff to do. Just like for me in general. I just have been having some brain issue wanting things. Uh so yeah, that makes it a little weird to pick themes every week. But I am doing it. And this week it was Action Ladies, but we're just gonna do that after the break because I do need to get up and stretch. And I'm just gonna put BRB because y'all are fine. Y'all will I'm sure the message in my BRB cat bubble wasn't going to be the difference for whether or not you guys are here when I get back. So do as you wish. Get up and get your drinks and your snacks. Go to the bathroom. You know, make sure you, yeah, looking at other art, super, super important. Uh, I can talk more about art shit or art block stuff when I get back. That's a huge, big topic that I have plenty to say on, so I'm gonna stretch. I will get up. You guys can stare at the little BRB cat and all of these lovely little gestures and the side of my star mat. Um and yeah, I will be back in just a few minutes. We will talk about some art block cuz yeah, art block is no fun, and neither is burnout, and it's really easy to do both of them at the same time, and yeah, that's rough. I will be back, we will talk about it, we'll draw some action, ladies, we'll have a good time. I need to stretch so I don't kill my back, and I will see everybody in just a minute. Okay, there we go. I think I think everything is back on. Okay. Uh, ugh. Well, my back is all backed out now. Um, my cats ambushed me as soon as I left the room. Uh, I think one of them was sitting outside the door. I think he left. Uh, the quiet one, not the loud one. So you guys wouldn't have heard him anyway. Uh, but yeah, I was gonna talk about some art block. Oh yeah, great. Art block is no fun, guys. Um, Unfortunately, the best way to deal with art block is prevention, typically, and not uh getting over it, because getting over it stinks and is poopy, and that's where I'm at. So motion sickness warning for, actually, you know what, here we can move to staring at my face for a second while I sorry, I was just trying to figure out what that was in my camera. Anyway, it's my hedgehog Pomodoro timer under my printer there. I was like, is there like a turd on my desk or something? Anyway, sorry. Uh, Let me move my sketchbook so we can do this next piece. And this piece is courtesy of my art block, as are all of the pieces past Pride Month, because I really, I don't know. I don't know if I just used up all of my creativity on silly little pride animals, or if I just thought that was easier to think of some stuff for, because uh I'm very gay. If you guys didn't know, I'm very many types of queer and odd and not not the standard person. So I did have a lot of, sorry, I'm marking my paper. And that is taking a little bit of my brain RAM. Okay, there we go. I can transition you guys over the sketchbook now. That should be fine. Oh, here, I'll mark on this side too, just so I don't have to draw that line with my brain. Um, Actually, maybe I want to mark it in front of my border, huh? So you guys can see most of what's happening. Uh, anyway, yeah, art block is no fun. Um, Shoot, I just lost what I was saying. Hold on. I'll get it. Um, Paid too much attention to the sketchbook, and also it's raining, so there's rain noise behind me, and I love rain noise, and that's very distracting to my little cuckoo brain. Um, but that's fine. I don't remember what I was gonna say, so I can just uh say something else, because my little cuckoo brain is probably a big part of my art block. I think lots of people well, first off, so preventing art block is way better. That's what I was gonna say. Preventing art block is way better because getting into art block is really hard, and if you get into art block, then it's kind of like, I mean, it's not kind of like, it's essentially, for all intents and purposes, being, oh, big thunder. Maybe my power will go out, guys. Maybe we'll get a power outage stream. Uh, I don't know if you guys can hear the rain too. But I really like rain noise, so it's distracting me a little bit. Uh, it's so nice out when it rains. And the rain has been very late here. It's usually much earlier in the year. Uh, anyway, I was just gonna say, yeah, art block typically happens a lot for people when they uh get to a point with their art where their art isn't what they want, and they also don't want something from it, right? Like, you can be a bad artist, right? Have many, many, many things to practice that are basic things that you could pick out even being a bad artist, right? I'm not trying to say this to be mean. I'm just saying, like, very inexperienced. Like, anyone would look at your, you can be someone who anyone would look at your art and go, this person is not a person who draws. You can have never drawn in your whole life and still get art block. If you also look at your bad art and you go, okay, that's bad art, I don't want anything else from that, right? Like, that is how art block happens. Um, and if you pick something that you can work on, right, then it's not the same as not getting art block, but you can pick something to work on that you know that you have to work on while you're still not in art block, and then you will still feel like you're getting more out of your art when you're just drawing because you have those skills. And that is a good way to stay out of art block, is just to practice things uh over time, right? Um and that way you continue to see new things that you can want from your art, um because there are things that weren't in your art before. And watching other artists draw can be really good for this. Like, if you incorporate things other artists do into your artwork, that can be super helpful. And if you watch just like random tutorials, even, it doesn't even necessarily have to be something you know you want to improve on. Just like, if you want, and I'm sorry, my camera is still refocusing over and over. I don't know why it's doing that. But I do notice. So I don't know. If that starts bothering you guys too much, because if I'm noticing it, I'm sure it's doing it more while I'm talking. Um, yeah, if that starts bothering you guys too much, I can switch back to my face cam and figure out how I adjust that a little bit so that it doesn't do that. Um, but yeah, anyway, sorry. Back to what I was saying about art block. Yeah, if you continue, ooh, loud thunder, to get new stuff, from your art to look at, then your brain is constantly like putting that into a feedback loop for yourself to make new stuff with, right? Um, because you go, oh, that's a thing I improved on, or oh, that's a thing that I already liked that I did, and now I can like do this other stuff with it, right? Um, or if you have like just general practice and not necessarily like stuff you know you need to improve on, a lot of the time you will find little random like either people or ways of learning. Like there's lots of different stuff that you can get out of basic art tutorials that isn't the basic tutorial part. And I think that uh if you focus on that a lot instead of the fact that you are doing a bunch of basic tutorials, it can really help you feel like you are developing like general understanding of art instead of just like a specific skill that may or may not be all that useful. Um, and I also think that lots of people, especially like really popular, well-known artists, uh, are typically, I think that people who are skilled in very specific fields, um, a lot of the time are typically not great teachers of basics. And I think that because of that, if you go and listen to some of them teach basics, you end up getting a lot of like their process and the way they think about the art, um, instead of the basic tutorial anyway. And so I watch like some really I have watched like some really big uh name artists. Uh and I'm not gonna say their names because I'm terrible at names and I won't remember and I don't want to go look at them up. And they are like proper name people and not uh YouTube username people. Um because one of them that I'm thinking of is, oh gosh, I'm so sorry. I do really like his work, and I'm just very bad at names and I don't remember his. But one of them is a artist for Magic the Gathering cards. I don't know if you guys know what those are even, but it's a trading card game. They also have like online stuff and it's super super nerdy and it's just definite even online it's just a card game, just a trading card game, uh but I am kind of a nerd. uh I'm kind of a big old dork, so I have played a lot of Magic and I really like some of the card art that this guy does. Okay, I give up. I will look it up. I have you. I have the browser open on YouTube still. I think anyway. Hold on. I'll go find him. Uh. Okay. Okay. His name is, and excuse me if I say this very very bad, Carl Kapinski. Um, who does the magic cards? Both of those are with a K. Sorry if I said that very wrong. But it's Karlkopin Ski. So I think it's Karl Kopinski. Yeah, maybe. Um, and then the other guy is what's his name? What's his name? What's his name? Hmm. Mark Crilly. Ah. I really like Mark Crilly. He does a lot of like self promoted comics, and also he used to do YouTube, but I don't have a little blue dot for him, so maybe he hasn't uploaded in a minute. Oh, no, he uploaded like a month ago. I guess maybe I went and looked at that and it just doesn't have a bar. Um anyway. Um and I'm gonna apologize to Mark Crilly because his channel is in fact a how-to channel. It's specifically tutorials. So I apologize for implying his tutorials are bad. Not all of them are bad, but he is definitely very talented and very proficient. And a lot of the time, I feel like even I've heard him admit that he's not always totally sure what to say to people to get them to understand, because it's not really about that, right? It's about uh just imagining it for him, right? And not necessarily all of the process, because he is so proficient that he doesn't have to, use his brain for so much of that art process. And so he doesn't explain it very well. And I think that that happens with lots of fields. However, if you do end up in the art block already, like me right now, I am in the art block so hard. I have probably not drawn a real piece that isn't here on stream or my little sketch daily prompts uh in a while. I mean, I did sketch a little bit um towards the end of my last sketchbook, which was not that long ago. I hate this hand. I'm gonna look up a reference for this hand. But I also, yeah, before that was definitely a long stint, and right now is kind of a stint. And it is just definitely hard to get out of, and it will take varying amounts of time depending on who you are. Um, and that can be super hard, especially if you actually, nah, it can be super hard no matter. I mean, I apparently I say especially and make people feel excluded. I don't mean to. But just like, you know, I feel like everybody has a super hard time with art block, right? Like, because if you are just starting out and you get art block, you're gonna feel like, ah, why would I ever pick this back up? This is stupid. Uh, I don't want to do this anymore, right? And then sometimes people just don't pick stuff back up. Sometimes, they never get to be artists because they do that. And then, if you get art block and you are already like a good way through your art journey, you might say, "Ah, shoot, art block. Well, I have all of this art experience. I should just be able to do art anyway," and then get really frustrated with yourself when you can't, right? Because, like I said, it is very akin to having art depression. Like, it's not cool. It is a frame of mind that is very hard to get out of. And uh and yeah, so just unfortunately, just like depression, the answers are typically very hard to do and they sound really simple, so it's frustrating that they're hard. Um and it can become a whole loop if you're not nice to yourself about it. Uh but for the most part, I think the best way to get out of art block is first off to admit you have the art block. So you're halfway there. It's really important to be able to recognize I am not where I want to be with this, and to be able to use that to like reassess, right? That is a super important first step. But also, like, on just what to even do after that, like, it is super hard to find things that don't just come from your brain. Like, I've heard lots of people talk about like inspiration, like it's some little treasure prize thing that they're supposed to find out of like thin air. And like motivation is another one people will use uh to just like tell themselves that they don't have the tools to be doing stuff. um and I'm not saying that doesn't mean you do have all the tools, because some people don't. Some people have issues where they just don't have some of the things that they need in their brain at certain points in time, and I'm not trying to dismiss that. But I'm also saying that, like, when it is a frame of mind like art block, uh it's really important to, or with the thought loops that come along with depression, and not necessarily depression itself. um it's really important to just be able to first take that initial step back and be like, okay, this is what's happening. And then also to just like literally just remind yourself that uh there are things to do. Yeah, yeah. I'm sure if you don't have money to buy pen and paper though, you're probably not that worried about art block. Uh Probably you have much much less privileged things to worry about, unfortunately. Uh so well, yeah, you can, but I mean if you're drawing with anyway, I'm just saying, it's not it's not about that. The point is if you get into a space where like you are feeling like your art, you know, isn't giving you what you want and you can't find things to want from that, like that is how art block works no matter who you are. Uh well, I like outer space. That's why it's like all over my thing cuz I think it's cool. But people are allowed to think whatever they want, uh, even if it's wrong. So you do you. Uh, and I I think that if you have lots of like big scary like man is my art ever gonna be like more than this, or I don't feel like my art is as representative of me as other people's art is of them, like you can feel that your art is not what you want and you don't know how to get there. Like that is how art block works no matter who you are. And for me right now, I have been kind of in this space where I have a lot of like technical skills, and while I do know I could put my 10,000 hours in lots of different categories of technical skill, um, and get better, I don't really feel like I have like a direction that I want my art to be going, right? Um, Like the little cartoon cats have been a really good art block exercise for me, um because even though I I don't have like a lot of personal, love and appreciation for little tiny cartoon animals that have no details on purpose. Like that is genuinely hard for me to draw. Um, because I do like all the little details and I like having to draw the hand 4 times because it's in an odd little position, and that intricacy is enjoyable for me typically. Uh but also the little cartoon cats allow me to just kind of sit and use like external things as prompts and then to not worry about them looking so nice, because kind of like with gesture drawing, right? If you have art block, the big the big thing of it is typically, you have that disconnect between what you are getting and what you want. And there is usually some basis there that is my art doesn't look good to me, right? Whether that is, my art is technically bad, or I don't like my style, or I don't feel like I have a style, or I don't think I am good at colors or perspective, or I don't think that my sketches are nice, whatever it is that you don't like about your art. There's usually, because it's such a visual medium, there's usually some basis there that is just my art doesn't look good. And uh I kind of I know this is terrible, but I kind of think all of the little cartoon cats are kind of bad. Um I know that they are like technically very adorable, and I have practiced the abstractions on them a lot, so I can do them a lot better now. But I don't like them so much, so it's very easy for me to look at them and go, okay, that is just bad, or this is what I didn't do well, or this is something that I did actually really like, or this is something I could do again, stuff like that, without it being a real, like, personal attachment to the piece itself that would make me feel like it has to look good, right? Um, and the sketch dailies are also a really good art exercise with me in a little bit of a different way than the cats, because I do still want them to look nice. I do still want them to be technically proficient in some way, but I also do purposefully try to spend less time on them because they are once a day, and don't uh I don't have to think of a prompt or a theme or anything for those. So typically what happens is I read the prompt and then I just do like a brain word association exercise. I just read the prompt, and whatever shows up in my head, that's what I draw. Even if it's like a very simple. Oh shoot, I just smacked the heck out of my camera. My bad, guys. Sorry, motion sickness warning. I'm gonna move it again. I'm a little surprised the power hasn't gone out, too. We're gonna make it to the end of the stream, I think. Unless I've just jinxed myself, which I might have. I'm pretty good at that. Oh shoot, is it not gonna sit right now? That would be so unfortunate. I swear, I did try to buy a better stand for you guys, but there was just not anything that would sit on my desk and also work for my webcam. I almost spent like $60 on this stupid little arm stand thingy for my desk, uh, before I realized that it only had an attachment for my phone and not a general attachment that I could put the attachment for my webcam on. Um, but yeah, uh, sorry, I hit the makeshift tissue box. Was that my cat? I don't know if that one was my cat or something outside. Anyway, yeah, uh, so I think probably the big thing is just figure out what it is. Because for me, right, like I just don't feel like my art is going anywhere, which I ended up breaking down for myself to be kind of like, I don't feel like I'm expressing myself with my art like I would like to. um, which makes me feel like the technical proficiency thing is not as important as I would like it to be. Uh, so I think probably for me, my taking a step back was to realize that I did want something that wasn't there out of my art, and that was just more of me in it. And then also, to kind of let go of doing that so much on purpose so that I don't feel like I have to, so that because like the biggest thing about getting over art block is if you do know art, you won't get over art block. Like some people do absolutely no art and they completely stop doing art for a long time and then they do come back to it. But that's not getting over art block, that is giving into art block and then you don't do any art. And some people need that, and if you need that, you should totally take it. And I'm not trying I did that. I'm not dissuading anyone from doing it, but it isn't the same. And if you uh if you want to push through it instead of, taking a big art break, it's really important to figure out how to give up a little bit of whatever it is that's making you not do any art, because the biggest part of doing art is that it gets done. And that sounds silly, especially from like a creative thing, but like if you do a million art pieces and they are all like absolute abstract nothings that you like drank some Kool-Aid and spit it on a paper or something, and you do that like millions of times, and like a dozen people enjoy your Kool-Aid art, that is still more people enjoying your Kool-Aid art than if you make like one grand masterpiece that a single person ever gets to own, and maybe hundreds of years in the future or something, like you'll have made up all of that difference because it'll be in a museum or something. But if you want to engage with your art right now, it's really important that you have art, because if you don't, then you are going to feel less seen than the guy with millions of Kool-Aid spit ups, because you just don't have as much out there for people to see. It's kind of like I've heard people use the same the same like kind of philosophy for lots of stuff, and I don't know as it is always as effective as it is with art block, but with art block it is really important to just keep making art if you want to push through it, because otherwise the art block will get you, because it is a thought loop. It is like having art depression and you will just get stuck in it. And yeah, so for me, the little sketch dailies and the cats give me some space to be like, my art can look bad and I don't have to think about it all that hard. So, uh, and then for like these weekly streams, right, I have to think of a theme a little bit. I mean, I don't have to, but it's usually better for me too, so that people show up and are like, what's happening? What are we doing? I have something to say other than art. We're drawing. I have a pencil. Um, and uh So one of the things that I do is after every week at the stream, I go, okay, by next week, I have to have thought of like one single idea that is just like a general theme for the stream. And then I give myself the whole week to do that. And still, usually, what happens is I get to Saturday or Sunday morning and I go, well, dang, I have no plans. I will show up and say something, and whatever that is, that'll be what we draw. And then, uh, you know, sometimes we do silly BS. Um, and I just realized how much bigger I made uh our weapons fighter than the magic fighter, but that's okay. She big and strong. We'll have the weapons fighter, we'll give her some armor and some lasers or something, so that it's fair. Uh and I'm just gonna do that now because I said it. I was joking, but I'm gonna do it now. And that's how you get over art block is you just draw. It doesn't matter what it is. It can be dumb. In fact, sometimes it's more helpful if it's purposefully dumb stuff. Like I have had some of my best pieces since ending up in art block just be silly little nothing burger things. Is my cat still like that? No. I must have heard him tapping the wall or something. Um, is just silly little nothing burger ideas that like either my friends said something silly and I went, haha, I could draw that, or like I had like a silly idea and I went, haha, I could draw that. The point is, when you're in art block, a lot of the time when you go, haha, I could draw that, your brain goes, no, you can't, it'll look bad, right? Because the point of art block is something is something you think is gonna look bad, right? Or boring, or not arty, or not what you want. It's not gonna look nice, like art, like whatever it is you want. And because I'm realizing I've been saying nice, but some people, including one of the artists I was talking about earlier, Pitch Canker, purposefully do not make their art look appealing or nice, and I don't want to exclude that from you know uh styles, because that's totally valid too. I just mean that you have to take a step back from needing your art to be your art, right? Needing it to be the thing in your brain that you can't see in all of its glory and that needs to come out of your head, right? Like that is a super common artistic impulse, and it's also uh, a good way to get very obsessive about things that aren't going to matter in your art overall, even to you. And I think it's really important to find exercises that help you take a step back. Like, if you are having trouble like me, like thinking of things that you want to draw, one of my biggest recommendations would be to carry around like a little pocket sketchbook. You can find a bunch of them for super cheap. I think I saw them. There were school sales, or yeah, there were school sales recently. And I saw some little tiny like pocket composition books for like 50 cents, which I don't think I can buy food like gum for 50 cents. So I can't imagine if you made it to the store that you don't have 50 cents. But if you don't, I mean, and you have scratch paper and mud or whatever, you can literally just like sit because there's dirt everywhere if you look hard enough. I don't know. It's but like if you just have access to doing art wherever you're at, like if you are riding in the car, probably not if you're driving, but like if someone else is driving and you're in the car, or if you're just like in a public space waiting for something, or if you are like in the waiting room of somebody's office, something like where you're just kind of there, your brain typically is going to use that time to process things, and a lot of the time that's when people will get on their phones or they will like check their email or whatever the heck, right? But also if you have access to your tiny little sketchbook, you can go, oh, there is a fish. I do not typically see fish. Maybe I will draw a fish. Or, oh, there are lots of people around. Maybe I will like casually and not creepily just like glance at those people and not stare at them like creepy people. Cuz I am totally guilty of staring at people like a creeper for drawing at them. Try not to do that. Um but just like to glance over at people and kind of get their gesture or their face or whatever uh for some quick sketches, because your brain uh will just capture stuff naturally while you're out and about. Um and uh Sketch prompts are a really good one. But again, you have to remove yourself from stuff needing to look good. So like sketch prompts are really good if you don't go, oh well I don't want to draw that, or oh well I don't want to do that because that's not gonna look good, or how am I supposed to even do that, or what does that even mean? Like if you're gonna do a brain loop about it, then don't do sketch prompts because uh thinking more is not the answer to art block. Uh but if you find some way to take you needing to build a masterpiece out of the initial art process, that is a really good way to stop feeling like you need to get more out of your art, because it's not going to feel as much like some big expression of you if you just see a silly dog on the train and draw a silly dog, or see, go and sit by an old guy that reminds you of the Monopoly Man and you draw the Monopoly Man, right? That's not going to feel as big and deep and personal and needing of expression. Uh, and so it won't be as hard to just draw it and have it not need to be some perfect big masterpiece that is an expression of you, right? Um If you, on the other hand, are art blocked in like a more technical way, uh, where like either you feel like you don't have um like you don't have proficiency and you're not sure like where to grow, or you're not sure like what it is you actually want to work on with your artwork uh in like a technical sense, then I think probably um the best thing to do for that is, and again, all of the tips for art block are frustratingly simple. Um, and that's because art block is frustratingly simple and it's all about you, and it feels really crap, and there isn't really a way around that, and that stinks. And I am not trying to downplay that because that is genuinely terrible, no matter where you are on your art journey or where you are as a person. Like, that is just hard. But also, like, it is about you, and that means all of the answers also have to be about you, which usually means they're frustratingly simple. Um, and just things you have to convince yourself to do. Uh, like caring a little bit less how nice stuff looks. Or if you are technically proficient, I think the thing I was going to say is I think probably one of the biggest tips is just to work on something. And it doesn't really matter what, because if you can't tell what is something you should work on, then probably either one, you are downplaying your art a lot and you probably have a lot of technical skill and it's hard to find stuff to improve on because you are going to have different kinds of mistakes in different pieces, and they're going to be smaller and harder to see. And in that case, work on anything, because anything is going to help your art look better if you already have a lot of technical skill. Uh, and if you don't see something glaringly bad, other people probably don't either. But also, if you don't have a lot of technical skill and you're still not sure what to work on, uh, still just pick anything, because any basic skill is going to help you figure out what it is that you want to be doing with your artwork if you don't have a lot of experience, right? Um, if you don't have any art experience at all and you pick any basic skill to work on, whatever artist you pick is going to have some additional flavor to their basic tutorials that will give you insight into general artwork. And even if you get like super old technical drawing manuals, like they have like, here, draw this bird, or look, I drew grandpa, like it's it's not going to just be technical information no matter what basic tutorial you learn from. And if you are inexperienced enough that you can't figure out what it is that you want to change about your art, and it is a problem with your experience, then anything will help you, because anything is going to give you more insight into how other artists um, create their pieces, like in their heads, right? um and how that translates onto paper. Uh, yeah, art block is hard. Uh, Apologies if there are lots of people here experiencing art block. Um, I'm trying to think of other stuff to say, but like I said, it is kind of one of those things where the answer sounds it's really simple, but it's still hard, right? It's not I'm not trying to say it's easy. It's just not complicated, right? Um Things can still be super hard even if they're simple, right? Like some people's handwriting is really terrible. Handwriting isn't hard. I mean, it's not difficult, complicated. That's what I mean. It's not complicated. Um, in terms of like, you know, not be if you weren't a person, it would be complicated. But like as a person, all of your motor skills do that anyway. Um, and it shouldn't be hard to write, you would think, initially, if you just think about it. But if you are a human person who has tried to write ever in any language, then you know that writing is hard and it takes some practice and it's not going to ever happen all at once. And so I think that, you just gotta be really nice to yourself. You gotta you gotta tell yourself that, it is something that you can get over if you want to. And honestly, I think one of the best tips for just like hobbies in general, but specifically art, is that you have to want to. Um, you have to want to do it. Uh, because I'm sorry, I keep scratching my nose. It is super dry in my room again. I need to turn my humidifier back on. It's been off. Um, oh, and my kitty is yelling. Sorry, guys. Puppy. Hi. All the things happening at once. Uh, yeah, if you just have to be super nice to yourself because it sounds like it should be easy, but it isn't. It's just simple, and those are not always the same thing, even though it feels like they should be. Because everybody, is at different spots. And especially with art, I think probably one of the reasons that I really like the you have to want to thing is because lots of people who, especially here in the US where I live, uh sorry for all of my European watchers. YouTube told me there are some of those. Um I do in fact live in America, land of the guns and the pew pews and the BS. But I yeah, I have seen a sentiment reflected here in the US a lot. And I don't know if it's as common other places, but that like once you put effort into stuff, even if it's just like a for fun hobby thing, that like something has to come out of it. Um, and that's not really how skills work, especially hobbies, right? Like, if you are doing something for fun, the fun is what you're supposed to be getting out of it, right? And I feel like, you totally can add other stuff in there, but if you are necessitating that other stuff be there, right, you are preventing yourself from trying things you might like a lot more than art, right? Um, and I thought that was probably one of the best art block tips that I ever heard was, if you don't want to get over art block, don't. Put the pencil down. Go do something else. You know, if you want to get over art block, you have to try and it's hard. And if you don't, then it's okay because there are lots of ways to express yourself, right? And it doesn't have to be with a pen and paper, and it doesn't have to be with mud and a stick, and it doesn't have to be with, watercolors or acrylics or technical proficiency, right? It can be lots of different things for lots of different people. And if you are not feeling art in just like a big general way that makes you not want to do it, then don't. And I think that was probably one of the best tips that I got for art block. And I think that probably I do know some artists and know of some artists, like have heard some people talking mostly that are just people that don't like art, that do it because either somebody trained them really early to do it or because there was a lot of it around them growing up and they felt like they needed it to be a part of things. Hi, Bubby. I'll be done soon. Sorry. My kitty is yelling. Apologies if you can hear him. I kind of assumed if you guys couldn't hear the storm, you can't hear her cat, but I don't know. Um, if you can hear him, sorry. I was saying though, yeah, like I probably know of quite a few artists who would genuinely be much better off just not doing artwork, right? And they do it because either, you know, it is a way they know how to pay their bills, which I mean, I get that. Like that is that is pretty valid and um it's unfortunate when that has to be uh stuff that you don't like, but also, if you're paying your bills with art, presumably there are some very commercial, like, what's the word I'm looking for? Procedural, like step by step ways for you to think of things to create, right? Like for the internet or for your company or whatever. And if you and if that's not the case for you and you don't want to do art and you got like pushed into it or something, then like I feel like a lot of people get just kind of stuck in things that they have spent time on, and art can definitely be one of those because it is so easy to sink a lot of time and technical proficiency and uh just like space in your brain into artwork. And it's hard to feel like it's okay to not use that um once you've gained it. And I think that it's really common rhetoric here in the US that even for like hobbies and stuff, you shouldn't change it, even if you aren't enjoying yourself, that you should just like always push through no matter what, even if it's terrible. And I think that that is stupid. I don't I mean, there are certainly situations in which that is useful advice, but if you're just talking about like your hobbies, I don't think you should be worrying about like the usefulness of your hobby skills for the most part, right? Like, as and if you aren't looking for art to be a hobby, right? It's still a creative uh field, right? It's still a creative process, and you still have to be able to like, and unless you are going to, like I said, just make very procedural commercialized art, you have to figure out stuff that you want from it. Uh so it's really important to be able to do all of that, to be able to take a step back, to be able to recognize that you have an issue, what your specific issue is, and also to just let go of it all and find ways for you specifically to give yourself space to not worry about it so much, because if you want to get over it, really just making art until it's over is the the only way that I have ever heard anyone get out of art block. And it's rough. It's burnout is a big fat brain drag, and it's no fun for anybody. Um and it's just hard. And there's not really anything to do about it except give yourself space, because if you're burnt out, it's just your brain or your body or something telling you somewhere that you need space. And if you don't give it to yourself, you're not gonna get over it. It's not gonna go away. And it it's really important that people take space when they need it. Like, I make sure that at either the 1 or 2 hour mark of the stream, something like that, uh, depending on, oh, shoot, I smacked the camera again. Depending on how I'm feeling, that I make sure and get up and stretch a little bit so that I don't hurt myself. Because as much as I feel like I should sit here and draw for 18 hours every single day and only ever be practicing and use every possible second of my free time to be improving, I will burn out really fast if I do that. I know I will burn out really fast if I do that. And so I don't. And if I don't get up at the 1 or 2 hour mark and stretch and, get my little juice, and, just generally take care of myself, I will just sit here and feel gross and bad. And, uh, I I know lots of artists will do that, um, just drawing by themselves, and just making sure that all of your everything is together and taken care of so that you can make good art is really important. And no matter what that step back is that you need, uh figuring it out and giving it to yourself is hard, and there isn't really like a big magical solution that I've heard of to art block or burnout. And um there's a million and one little tips and tricks for drawing every day if you want to try and work through some burnout, but really trying to give yourself enough space and time and energy that you don't get there in the first place is way, way more useful for most people, because it is genuinely just hard to get out of it. Because it is frustratingly simple to get both in and out of it. Um, I guess now that I've been talking about getting out of art block for a minute here. Oh, hi. I think I remember you. I'm sorry, I'm so bad with names. But hello. I appreciate all the people saying hi. There's so many highs today. Uh, no worries. I was saying earlier, I hardly ever start on time anyway. So, uh, but yeah, now that I've talked about getting out of burnout a little bit, I think I'll probably say a little bit more on just like avoiding it, because I do think that is way more helpful. Um, and I have talked a lot on getting out of it now. I think I'm kind of saying the same thing because I've talked so much about it. So, one of the things that I have found people doing that seems to be really helpful for avoiding burnout in the first place is just like I was talking about the pocket sketchbooks. Those are a good way to get out of burnout and also a good way to avoid it, because uh like I said, the reason they're helpful for getting out of burnout is because your brain kind of just takes in stuff while you're out and about, and if you kind of put some of that down, you might encourage your brain to just work on your art a little bit differently, and just kind of process some of the stuff that is out and about in ways that you wouldn't typically have been like exposed to, or thought about in your room or your home or your office or wherever you are. And uh, I think that those little pocket sketchbooks can also be really helpful for that reason, for avoiding burnout, because uh, if you are processing lots of visual stuff all the time and you're putting it down, um, no matter what that is, right? Even if you're just like doodling bats or something while you're out, right? If you get super into doodling bats while you're out and about, you're probably gonna get to a point where you want to draw bats, like to actually draw them more than just doodle them. And even if you don't, your doodles are probably going to get
nicer and more intricate if you keep doodling the same bats, right? Like, no matter what it is that you doodle, if you are just exposing yourself to drawing more often, that is a really good way to just force your brain to be in that kind of processing visual state more often. And then that helps to, excuse me, my shoulder did a thing. Sorry about that. And that helps to just make sure that you don't have to get to a place where your brain isn't giving you anything to put down. Um, and when I say pocket sketchbooks, I really don't mean you have to go and buy like $12 Moleskines that go in your coat pocket, or like I used to carry around, I probably don't have it on the bookshelf. But I used to carry around like a little square about this big that was literally like some copy paper, like some scrap copy paper. It was probably like old homework or something that I had cut into little squares and had duct taped together by just like putting duct tape on all of the sides of the pieces. And then I think I got like a big stapler or something and just put one big staple through the middle just to make sure that stuff didn't really like fall apart. But it can be as simple as a bunch of paper with a binder clip on it. It doesn't have to be a real sketchbook. It doesn't have to be something that isn't going to get messed up in your bag. It can totally get messed up in your bag. It's supposed to be something for you to put down little ideas as they come to you, little ideas while you're out and about, and to not worry about them. Like this sketchbook that I'm working in right now, I'm doing this super nice sketch on like super cheap paper, and I'm not recommending anybody do that. I'm just doing that cuz I'm sketching and I'm cheap. But uh you this notebook that I'm working in right now is one of two that I got for $6. So they were $3 a piece, and they have 60 pages in them, and they are ring bound, and I think I think there's something like 8 by no, there no way there's it's 8, maybe like 6 by 4 inches or something like that, 6 by 3 inches. They're pretty small. Um, like just a little bit bigger than photo size. I don't know what photo size is. I'm not good at estimations. Sorry, guys. But they are very small, and the paper is so cheap that it just stains, like no matter what you put on it, and it's really hard to erase even like light pencil on because it's just very, very, very cheap paper. But I do shove this just like in my purse when I go out, and I do try to just carry it around with me. If you're not a person that typically has pockets, uh, you can get like a little side bag or something, or just like something that you don't mind carrying, or you could get one on like I know they have like little clip ones, but I'm sure those are some money. Um, I'm sure buying a handbag is some money too. So I'm not trying to uh imply these are all perfect solutions for everybody, but if you can figure a way to comfortably carry around some paper with you, then I would totally recommend doing that for both avoiding and getting out of art block. Um, because just having a little space for like ideas that you would have outside of your typical drawing environment is really good for just bringing new types of things into your drawing environment. Because presumably, you'll think about, oh, I did that little sketch earlier of like a crow. What if I add some wings to this guy or something like that? It's, and I mean, it's not always that straightforward, and uh, it's not always even that useful. But I do think that it has been kind of useful for me, and I know that there have been a lot of other artists that are bigger, uh, better artists than me that have recommended it for that. So I would also recommend that. I think another really good way to avoid art block in the first place, uh, is just um to give yourself something external uh to prompt you, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be like I do the sketch dailies that are literally drawing prompts. It doesn't have to literally be drawing prompts, but just like some thing that isn't in your brain and is going to tell you what to draw, right? It like if you have a friend that has lots of goofy ideas, like maybe you can say like, "Hey, you want to give me something to draw?" Or like it can be something as simple as like typing pick a random character in Google, or like getting a generator out for something, just something outside of your brain that you will consistently come back to ask you to draw stuff is a super good way to avoid burnout. Because again, biggest like one of the biggest causes, and like pretty much the cause of burnout that I have seen, is feeling like you it is going to draw stuff and not it is going to draw stuff and feeling like you don't get what you want out of your drawing, right? Sorry, that took me a second to put together in my head. Even though I've said it a few times now. So I'm sure that made me look very competent and you guys all want to listen to me still. But also, uh yeah, one of yeah, the thing I just said, I'm not doing it again. Is that you yeah, and then you don't have any way to get out of that. But if you have something outside of you that is prompting you for that, then you can avoid going back into yourself and going, okay, well, what is it that I need to draw? Or what is it that I want to get out of this drawing? Or why don't I want to draw a butterfly dog? Or what is it that sounds so silly about putting a hat on a pig? Like, why can't I draw that? Like, that is where art block comes from typically, is just that thought cycle of I want something from my art and I don't know what it is. And if someone else is giving you the prompting, if someone or something outside of yourself prompts you for the artwork, then it's a lot easier to come back and be like, okay, this is what I'm drawing, right? I am drawing a pig. I am drawing Stacy's friend when doing a keg stand. I don't know. Um I am drawing my friend Gavin who smells really bad and I'm going to put stink lines on him. You know, it's really a lot easier if you give yourself space to do those kinds of like silly, less serious pieces that don't need to be masterpieces, that don't even really need to be something you consider art, so that your brain has space to like find things you actually want to do. Because if you just try, like, that is a super big problem for me, is I try too freaking hard at everything. I should definitely give up more often. Um and I just keep pushing stuff until it breaks, and it's not a good look. Um and with art, that has manifested in me having a lot of technical skill and not a lot of interest in the things I'm drawing, and not a lot of patience to properly implement said technical skills. Like, I can tell that my hands are different sizes, even with the perspective, and that I definitely made this person too small, and even for this person to be like a big strong person, like this person just kind of looks like a fairy. Like, they look very very small because they're closer to us. And I could do all of that better, but I'm not going to. I'm going to leave it exactly as it is. And I'm also not going to worry about it, because if I worry about it looking really nice and technically proficient, I will continue to emphasize my burnout that I already have, that makes me not want to be doing any of this anyway, right? So the point is that I have drawn the thing, and I mean, it looks cool. Despite all of the mistakes, and despite the fact that I don't have any zappy stuff coming off of my one armor girl yet, uh, it does still look like a cool scene. Like, I I am interested in the scene. I think the characters came out kind of nice. Um Even though I didn't really talk about them much. Uh Sorry while I scoot the sketchbook around a little bit. Um and I think that that can all be separate from the fact that I probably should have taken a picture of my gestures and not just thought about them in my brain. So that this and this didn't happen. Um, and that her little waist thingy is crooked, and I didn't mean for it to be crooked, and all of that could be true at the same time. Um, and avoiding art block, again, way easier than getting out of it, but this is one of those examples where, like, it can be both, right? Like, if I really wanted to do this cute little fighting scene and I thought, oh, that's so cool, and then I got really upset that the hands didn't really quite come out like I wanted them, or like my person came out too small, and I go, oh no, I have to do the whole thing over again because it's so bad that I made these mistakes, and now the drawing is ruined. It's not what's in my head, and I don't want to do it anymore, right? Like, that is how you get burnout and art block, because you are creating things, and then before you even, you know, before you even acknowledge, oh, maybe I should work on perspective a bit, or oh, maybe hands are not really my strong suit, like they're nobody's strong suit. Um, hands. But like instead of acknowledging those things, if you just get really upset with yourself for it being a bad drawing, then you not only are going to feel bad about the drawing, it's not going to like sink in that those are actually things that you can do something about, right? Like, I can work on perspective. It stinks. I don't like doing it, and that's why I'm bad at it, but I can. I can practice it. And I can practice hands. My hands are vastly improved from a few years ago when I stopped drawing and didn't draw for a long time, and then I tried to draw again and uh hid hands behind people's backs in art. I'm sure nobody else has ever done that ever in history of art. Um but yeah, no, I would just hide the hands out of the frame or out of the picture cuz I just didn't yeah, not didn't want to draw them. Was really bad. But I practiced and now they look like hands. That one is too big and this one does not really look like it's attached to the arm right. And I do not like the way that the palm looks on this one, but I'm gonna stop nitpicking it because I'm gonna make myself upset. Cause again, the point is that I worked on it, right? The point is that it was something that I was bad at and I worked on it. And I am now not as bad. And if you just make a million art things, it doesn't matter what they are, you will get less bad. And that doesn't necessarily mean more technically proficient, right? If you have a hand tremor, you're not necessarily going to work out your hand tremor by drawing a lot. But if you draw a lot with your hand tremor, you're going to figure out how to hold your pencil and how to work in a way that works for you, right? You're going to figure out what kinds of things you actually do enjoy drawing. You're going to figure out what kinds of things you can put on your paper that aren't going to block you in the future. And that is why the little pocket sketchbooks are so important, why somebody outside of yourself to prompt you when you don't feel like prompting yourself is super important because getting 1,000,002 bad pieces of art done is all that one masterpiece needs, right? Like, you don't have to have anything to be a good artist. You don't have to have talent, you don't have to have skill, you don't have to have ideas, you don't have to have any of it. And if you are feeling like you need something like that to do your artwork, then that's a pressure that you are putting on yourself. And because art doesn't need any of that. There are famous pieces that are huge, big statement pieces that are things like literal urinals on the ground, or like one of the artists that I think does a really good job on YouTube that I was talking about earlier is uses 3 colors in all of his artwork. He uses mono black, mono white, and mono red. He doesn't use any shading. He uses just thin white, black, and red lines and white, black, and red fill, right? It's not complicated. It's just expressive, right? And he does all of his art digitally, so he had the initial cost of his tablet and whatever his drawing program costs. I think he is an iPad with Procreate, so I'm sure that's, a little bit more of a startup cost than some people want, but I'm sure you could do your own version of a very similar type of art in a free program on your desktop computer with a trackpad if you don't have or want any of that, or if you go to your local public library and use one of their computers in a 30-minute window. Like, it's it's all about doing lots of it so you can figure out what works for you, because that's what art is supposed to be for. It's supposed to be for you. It's not supposed to be for everybody else. It's supposed to be your art. And even if everybody else likes it, or you want everybody else to like it, the the point isn't ever going to be anybody besides you. And that's how creating anything works, right? I mean, anything that's not alive. Some people think that way about kids, I think, too, and that's kind of gross. But, you know, not alive things, things that do not require attention after the fact. Um, it's really important for you to make sure that that's about you, right? Like that is an expression of self. And and I think some people get really bogged down and really art blocked because they get really caught up in how their art is perceived by others and not how their art is doing. And if you don't ever make a million bad pieces, you can't improve a million bad pieces to make a million and one better pieces. It's like all of your artwork improves upon itself because it's a skill, right? Like all skills improve upon themselves if you do them, but you do have to do them. And so if you aren't feeling like you're getting places like with art block, or if you feel like you might be getting into some art block, um because you either, you know, just if you're feeling some kind of way where art block is on the brain for you, just make sure that you have stuff outside of you to prompt you and some way to engage in your art outside of its typical environment, right? Because whether that be like one of those portable sketchbooks or like a friend talking to you on the bus, or if you are a retail therapy person, I saw these super cute they're like little composition books, and then they have like sketch prompts in the corner, so it's like pre-made sketch prompts in the sketchbook, and then it comes with drawing paper, and I think they weren't even that much money because it was probably cheap sketch paper. um like I think they were probably less than $10 for like 100 pages or something, and I'm sure those are super useful if you don't want to have like a person or something like online that you have to check in with. Um, it's it's all about just making sure that there is some way that you are still going to be making your art. Because if you get into art block, it's hard to get out, and if you just stop, it's way harder to just start than it was to stop. It's like it's like anything else, right? Like anything that you do, with consistency. If you stop, it's going to be way harder to start doing it again, right? Like if you go to the gym, if you only eat a certain type of food, right? If you only wear certain types of clothing, if you abstain from certain social practices, and you stop being so strict about that, you give yourself exemptions, then it creates space in your brain to say, okay, well, that's not like a hard, fast rule. So why should I have to do that in all of these other instances? And that's not always a bad thing, but if you do it with art, it does mean that you will, or with like creative skills in general, right? Like instruments or like non-traditional types of art, like digital media of some kind. You know, if you are making things and you go, okay, well, what if I just stopped making things? Like making things is a big, huge creative process, no matter what you're making, pretty much. Even if you throw the urinal on the ground and you go, this is my art, that probably was something that you thought about for a really long time and decided how to make that statement, right? Because it is a statement piece. It's not about the urinal itself, right? But there was still creative process there that just was internal. Um and if you decide that you don't have to do that for an extended period of time, it does become something that you are less good at. It is a skill that you will lose over time. And it's a lot harder to convince yourself that it's worth it and that it's enjoyable and that it is something you would like to be doing if you put it down and you pick it up, and it's a lot harder than when you put it down. Um because art, especially technical skills of art, uh will degrade really quickly if you don't practice them. um because uh your motor skills are really malleable, and your abilities are very based on training, right? Like motor memory and stuff with art. Um, and if you just don't activate those pathways for a while, your brain does get rid of them, right? And it's not a theory thing, it is just practice. So you do just have to practice again. And that is rough and hard and not worth it for lots of people. And that is how lots of people quit doing art. Is they put it down for a while and they decide that they're going to try again, and they come back and it's not easy because they've been away for a long time, and they go, "Man, I was so much better before. I remember all these great pieces that I did. Why doesn't my art look like that? I should quit." Right? It's really easy to do if you're not careful about being nice to yourself. I I know that lots of people learn not to be nice to themselves for motivation, but that that is a big part of how you cause burnout. No matter what kind of burnout it is, also. Like, I'm talking about art burnout, but being nice to yourself in general is also very important. I'm not good at that one. I have a lot of burnout. You should listen. Burnout is crummy, and I know it's very bad. I have a lot of it. So, if you want to not be me, you should not do the thing that I do, which is nitpick myself constantly and tell myself how terrible all of my artwork is. because of my one of four hands that looks bad. And my one of four hands that looks like it's maybe not attached right. Uh, and I'm also trying, while I'm talking, to decide if I want to add anything else to this, because we are getting up here on the 4 hour mark, which is an hour longer than I say I'm gonna stream, but we do typically go a little bit over anyway. Oh, well, thank you so much for the follow. I'm not sure if that's someone who's here or not, but I appreciate it anyway. And if you're watching now or watching on the VOD later, oh, it is someone here. Hi, thank you. I hope the little dopamine circle gave you a good little jolt there. Uh, the little astronaut boy spins for everybody who follows me, cause I thought that was cute. Um, so thank you so much. Yeah, and I'm just kind of wrapping up here, I think. I was trying to, yeah, a little. That's okay though. Got I've not been as good about publicizing this as I should be. Uh yeah, I have been doing these every week, so I will be here next week at I think I have my little countdown timer thingy set to 3 p.m. EST. It should auto translate to wherever your time zone is. So there is a little countdown thingy on my auto or my page bio thing on Twitch here. Uh oh yeah. Uh let's see. So yeah, no, I'm sure it says, but I appreciate it. Just this dedication to show up at 2 in the morning. I couldn't be me. It is not 2 in the morning for me. Um, but thank you. I appreciate you guys coming to hang out, and I am just trying to figure out if I want to add anything else to our little superhero scene before I'm done. Well, those are great viewers too. We appreciate you. Uh, Lurkers and engagers are both welcome. I watching is also engagement. I appreciate all of you. And again, if y'all don't feel like talking, I know I talk to you directly a lot, but you don't have to. I just feel more weird if I'm talking to myself, so I pretend like I'm talking at you guys, uh, even if you say nothing. So don't feel like you have to say something just because I'm talking at you. But I do appreciate all the engagement that you guys want to give. Uh, and I think our little superhero scene might be done. I don't know that I really need to add much. I would add the little nunchuck in the back swinging a little bit, but I think that's more effort than I want to put in for right at the end of the stream. Maybe we'll give this one some little details to her leotard cuz it's kind of plain looking. Maybe we'll give her like some little belt clips or something to hold the nunchucks. Um but yeah, no, I have been doing this every week. Uh I was doing it every week for a while before and I kind of got out of the habit, but we have a new internet cord, we have new sketchbooks, hopefully uh new determination, but we're still the jury is out on that one. And ooh, you know what? Maybe we'll give her like a little wrestling belt. It'll kind of I think it kind of fits just snug under where we already drew the breastplate. Um, and yeah, uh, yeah, big sum on art block. Don't be me. Be nice to yourself. Try not to worry so much about what it is you're drawing. Try to just keep drawing, because just having art, even though it sounds dumb and like nonsense and like it shouldn't do anything, just drawing anything, even if it's random crap off your desk, even if it's bugs in your yard, even if it's like some meme stuff that your friends say and you go, haha, that would be funny. Uh, Drawing anything makes your brain think about drawing. And so if you think about drawing, your brain is working on drawing, it's easier to avoid both art block and getting out of art block. So, yeah, avoiding art block and getting out of art block are kind of the same thing, I think, just one is preemptive, and when it's preemptive, it's easier. Um, and so I think, yeah, I think a lot of those tips probably overlap. And I probably said a lot of the same things for both of them, just because I think they are probably very similar processes that work. Um, and yeah, and I think this is just about it for our actiony superhero ladies. I really, really like how these came out, and these were a silly little idea that I thought of, like, when I woke up, not even like a whole hour before the stream. So, just sitting down and putting effort into it, no matter what that effort is, right? Even if it's doing a bunch of gesture drawings on line of action. And also, somebody asked me about the sketch dailies on the Reddit last time. I did go and fix the link tree. I still didn't do the Redbubble stickers, so sorry if you guys are waiting on the Redbubble stickers. I will get them up eventually. They're not there yet. I have been procrastinating. Apologies. That's on me. Still on me. We'll figure it out. Linktree, though, I did fix the link tree. All the links on there should be valid links now. There should be links to the Redbubble store. There should be a link here back to the stream. There should be a link to the sketch dailies. And also, I yeah, I think I put all of the things on there. There is like a little stream tip thing that I have connected to this that pops up if you tip the stream thing. I don't typically publicize it because there isn't a lot of people here and I don't think it's a big deal, but it is there if you want to find that. Uh and yeah, so uh I'm trying to think of if there's anything else I should let you guys in on before I kind of close everything up here. Yeah, I do have a couple of projects that I've been working on. Um but they're mostly maybe projects, like maybe they'll get finished and maybe I'll show them to you guys. And not really like big things I want to talk about. A couple of comics and a set of animations, but yeah, I'm not always good with bigger projects. just getting them finished. Um, A to B process stuff is sometimes hard for me. And but if any of that does come out, I will let you know. I will put something up about it on YouTube at least. I know I haven't been active on Twitter really, or sorry, X. I haven't been active on X because I don't like X, because I don't like X's owner, and he can demonetize me from whatever the frick, because, yeah, big middle finger to him. I don't like him. And I didn't think. I think this is probably a sentiment I've heard from others, and I will repeat it because I did not think that Twitter could get worse, because it was already kind of just bad from the way that it exists, and like that was kind of blessing and a curse bad, and now it's just bad. Like it's just bad, and that is unfortunate that such a like it was kind of a unique space, and it's just gone now. Um and that's really unfortunate. Uh but I haven't been posting as much on there cuz I don't like Elon and his changes. But I will at least post on YouTube, and if I remember, I will go and copy paste whatever post onto there. And I do have uh I do have one of those clock apps, but I also don't. I pretty much just copy the YouTube shorts onto there. I don't really do very much on there either. So, really, if you want to see, like, me talking, if I'm gonna notify you guys of anything, um, I do also have a subreddit that I made at some point. I think probably if you guys go and click on the link in the link tree is for my personal user, but if you click on that, it should show you my subreddit, because it's just the only one that I have, I think, and I made it uh thinking I was going to put stuff there, and I didn't. So, if lots of people show up and join, I can start putting notifications there probably. um but for right now, if you want to hear about any of that stuff, probably go to YouTube. YouTube community page is where I usually put all of those. I haven't been good about the stream notifications, but I need to write one that's just like a copy paste one, so I can just tell you guys when I'm gonna be live. Because otherwise I freak myself out about the effort. And it's not a big deal. So I will try to do that, and I will try to get on some of those other things I have pending for you guys. And either way, I will still be back next week for you guys here to do something. Not gonna commit to anything because, again, big art block. Uh big big anti-art commitment. And that is fine, because if you are experiencing art block, be nice to yourself about it. Doesn't go away if you just beat yourself up about it. It gets worse. So, I don't know what I'm doing next week, but we'll figure it out. And if you guys want to leave a comment here, if you're watching here, or if you're watching the VOD, or if you're watching on YouTube, if you want to leave a comment wherever you're at, letting me know some ideas that you had for next week, if you want me to draw your friends falling in the snow, I don't know, stuff that is ideas. If you want to leave them for me, go right ahead. I try to look at everybody's comments everywhere. I'm not always great about catching all the notifications, but if I get a notification, I will check it almost always. And I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if you didn't, you can let me know that too. And if you want me to do more of this or more of something else, you guys uh are the secondary pilots of this channel at the minute, because again, art block, I am very interested in being prompted externally, like we were just talking about. So if you guys want to give me some stuff to draw, more than open to that. If you don't, I will think of some silly dumb stuff to draw anyway and not worry about it. And the art block will go away eventually. And I hope you guys all show up next week to come back and hang out. And if you have better stuff to do that you know, want to watch this later or something, um, yeah. So I will see you guys all later. And I will be here next week. And if you guys aren't here next week, I hope that you're off doing something cool anyway. And yeah, I need to get an outro so that I stop rambling at the end. But this is the end. Do. I don't know. Uh yeah, bye guys. Hope you guys have a good week and I will see you next week. And I will see if I can fix that stupid auto zoom so nobody has to look at that next week cuz I am still staring at that while I say goodbye. And that is annoying. So I'm sure you guys were very annoyed. I appreciate you putting up with and me. And I will see you all next week. Bye.